What are some common myths about the housing market for 2024? And if you stay tuned till the end, we'll get into the future for San Antonio. It may surprise you. Prices will drop in 2024. Myth. The experts actually revised their forecast. With rates trending down over the last few months, buyer demand will go back up. And since the supply of homes for sale is still low, that's a recipe for price growth. The overall historic trend for home price appreciation is 4% each year. And the latest forecasts are actually all close in line with that number. Your numbers about prices dropping don't be. So what are we seeing in the market today? On average, homes are selling for 96% of their list price. This is an improvement from the 92% we saw a couple months ago, which means sellers are adjusting to the housing market and pricing better, and the housing market is stronger than last fall. The median days on market in San Antonio has gone down to 42 days, which is how many days a home will take to sell once it's listed. Buyers, this means you may need to act quickly when you find a home you love. Someone else may love it too. If there's an economic recession, the housing market will crash. Myth. First, we have to define what an economic recession is. It's defined as 6 straight months of decline in the value of all goods and services produced in the U.S. There's been 14 recessions since the 1930s. However, there's only been one housing crash since then, the infamous 2008 to 2010. There's going to be a bunch of foreclosures coming out and then I'll buy. Myth. Even during the infamous 2008 crash, the number of homes foreclosed on at its peak was only 2% countrywide. 2022 only saw a 0.23% foreclosure rate. The difference between now and the 2008 crash is homeowners have equity now. They get in a bind, they can sell without foreclosing. Lending laws have changed since then. Home values have skyrocketed during our record seller market. Over 2/3 of homeowners have at least 50% of equity. Meaning if they have a mortgage, it's less than half of what their home's worth. I'll wait for home prices to come down and then I'll buy. Myth. You very likely missed it. January 2023 is when we saw the lowest point of the home price correction from the record seller market, and it's been slowly going back up. It's an election year, so interest rates will come back down. Myth. The Federal Reserve sets the monetary policy and operates independent of the federal government. The reason being, they need to be able to control the economy without being influenced by politicians every 4 years. But will interest rates come down? I heard they'll come down. Maybe. Feds are done raising rates, but not quite ready to bring them down. Many experts suggest if the current trend with the economy continues, as far as inflation, rates will come down in mid-2024, possibly below 6% by the end of the year. An economic recession is coming. Maybe. There's mixed signals. The economy is softening. There was a slowdown in October. The hours worked per week is going down slowly, a prelude to job losses coming. However, it typically dips in January as retail workers get laid off after Christmas. Depending which channel you watch, the news might say the average consumer's balance sheet is strong. But if you break it down, the top 60% of earners might be doing well, but the bottom 40% of households aren't. All that inflation means 40% of consumers have had to tap into credit to pay for things like food, increasing their credit card debt. Delinquencies for prime loans, as in the top 60%, are super low. Auto loans and credit card delinquencies for the subprime borrower, the 40%, are way above than before the pandemic. Behavioral economics, how people's feelings affect their spending. Consumers are expecting a mild recession or slow growth. Californians are moving to Texas. True, everybody wants to move to Texas. It's a top state for Generation Z out-of-state movers and the second top state for all out-of-state movers. Florida beat us on that one. And according to KENS5.com, San Antonio was a top Texan city to gain residents in 2022. The major reason given was the relatively low cost of living. Migration remains robust, including from California. San Antonio is more affordable than other Texan cities. Home prices came down from their peak. Home prices declined. We have to look at the full story. The housing market did experience a correction. Homes increased in value that they were never supposed to have. Yes, if you bought in 2022, your home value likely declined. We had a correction. If you owned your home prior to then, the average price in San Antonio was $360,000 in January 2024, but to $370,000 a year prior. If we go back to January 2020, it was $268,000. Means you gained almost $100,000 of equity in 4 years. It's equity people never should have had. If COVID never happened and homes appreciated at the historical norm 4% a year, the average would be $313,000. That's an additional $47,000 in equity. What's the future for San Antonio? Nationwide, big demand is coming. Millennials and Generation Z are bigger populations than baby boomers and entering their home buying years. Unlike other states in debt, Texas has a surplus. San Antonio in particular is going through major growth and development. Not only are people relocating here, but companies as well. The Joint Base in San Antonio is the top employer in the region. The roads and even the airport is expanding. San Antonio will continue to have strong job growth. San Antonio is adding 30,000 jobs annually, and unemployment is 3.2%, lower than the national average. What all this means is two things. One, it's a good thing they're expanding the highways. Two, with all the development and people moving here, that means more demand for housing, which means home prices going up. I'm Kim Herrera, and open a new door in life.